No one disagrees that I know of that our system needs repair. It certainly does. But every time we offer, as Democrats, to work together on comprehensive immigration reform, Republicans find an excuse to fight sensible change. And every time Democrats propose bipartisan legislation to provide a pathway to citizenship for children brought here illegally through no fault of their own, Republicans have found an excuse to oppose our practical reform. There's no better illustration of Republicans' hypocrisy than their phony outrage this past weekend. On Friday, President Obama announced the administration would suspend deportation of young people, upstanding young people, brought here by their parents as children, provided these young people attend college or serve in the military. In this Congress and the last Congress, Republicans expressed broad support for the principles of President Obama's directive. And Senator Marco Rubio, the junior senator from Florida, has even talked up a similar idea to the press for months, although he never actually proposed a proposal. This was just talk. There wasn't a single word ever in writing. Yet, Republicans' glowing expressions of support for the president's decision were not forthcoming. Instead, Republicans have cried about the way the directive was issued. They prefer a long-term solution. Well, of course, we all do. They don't like the timing. They should have been consulted on an issue this important. Should have been left to Congress. Being left to Congress, we've tried to do that for years, and we can't because they won't let us. They stop us procedurally. Their complaints are varied, but they have one thing in common. None of them actually take issue with the substance of President Obama's directive. And with the polling results today announced in national press clearly, overwhelmingly supported by independents, overwhelmingly supported by Democrats. And frankly, Mr. President, Republicans aren't that much opposed to it either. But the only Republicans that are opposed to it by a large margin are the Republicans in the Congress. Leading Republicans' voices on immigration have yet to actually disagree with the decision. They just don't like the way the president made the decision. This will get, I guess because he'll get credit for bringing out of the shadows 800,000 trustworthy young men and women who know no other home but the United States. Now is hardly the time to walk away from the DREAM Act, which would have created a pathway to citizenship for young people brought to the country through no fault of their own. And it's certainly no time to abandon calls for comprehensive immigration reform that's tough, it's fair, and it's practical. But that's exactly what Republicans are doing. They're taking their marbles and saying, well, okay, we'll just quit, go home. Quite frankly, Mr. President, they've never been here anyway to go home. They haven't helped us anyway. And the same Republicans who complained they weren't involved enough in the president's decision are now giving up any involvement in the broader immigration conversation. It really makes you wonder whether they were committed to passing the DREAM Act or tackling immigration reform at all. Because, Mr. President, Senate Republicans have twice had their chance to vote for the DREAM Act. Both times they filibustered the measure to a legislative death. So perhaps it should come as no surprise that my Republican colleagues are more interested in complaining about a system that's broken than in working with Democrats to fix it.